Good evening, my name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rock.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tabua. We love Today FM in Tabua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selina, I'm from Tavenga Vengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Pula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM, in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news tonight, PM assures sugar industry of government support. Online bill submission continues to gain momentum. And more LTA officers to be visible on roads during long weekend.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Smith.
The Prime Minister of Bainimarama says they will continue fighting for 200,000 Fijians who rely on the sugar industry. Speaking during the handing over of new tractors to the Fiji Sugar Corporation, the Prime Minister says their strategy for the sugar industry has never been about band-aid solutions and quick fixes. Felipe Naikaso has more.
The Prime Minister not mincing his words as he told sugarcane farmers that his government actually walks the talk and that they're about action and results.
We've heard many times before, and I'm sure we will hear more of it in the months ahead. Of course, the lies, the bold claims and big promises from the opposition. They'll say that they'll give $100 per ton, but they don't have any real strategy for bringing down your costs to secure long-term viability for this industry. That is because they don't have a long-term vision.
Bainimarama told farmers that he has always been straight with them ever since the very start of his government's campaign to revitalize the sugarcane industry.
It has always been about guaranteeing a sustainable and resilient future for the sugarcane industry and the farmers. It has always been about real strategic policy, making that is reducing your costs and addressing the hardships you face as cane farmers, so that we can make Fijian sugar as competitive as it can be on the global stage.
The Prime Minister also says that he is focused on their future, a sustainable, resilient and profitable future for Fijian sugar.
In total, the budget toward the sugar industry was increased to $60 million this financial year, nearly double last year's allocation. And with our support, cane production in 2018 is anticipated to reach close to 2 million tons.
Bainimarama further reassured the farmers that the sugarcane industry will always remain at the heart of the Fijian economy. Felipe Naikaso, FBC News.
30 new tractors were today handed over to the Fiji Sugar Corporation that will be used by farmers in cane fields around the country. The handing over of the tractors is part of the extensive effort to mechanize cane farming, making life easier and better for farmers. Felipe Naikaso again with the story.
An investment of $2.8 million by government for these 30 tractors, which is in line with FSC's 5-year plan to mechanize the industry.
These tractors will be hired out to farmers at minimum cost and will come with employed drivers trained to handle this equipment. So as a farmer, all you need to do is focus on your business, the business of farming cane, and let these tractors and drivers assist with land preparation and cane planting, and watch your production costs fall dramatically.
The handover comes at the right time for farmers, as the replanting season is just around the corner. For most farmers, labor costs and shortages were some of the major issues.
It is good for the farmers because these days the farmers are very expensive for the hire of the tractor and plow the land and prepare for the land.
That the government and the FSC has brought in these tractors as it will assist us cane farmers. I will try and hire one of these tractors for my sugarcane farm.
The Prime Minister also told the sugarcane farmers that the sugarcane industry will always remain at the heart of the Fijian economy and that the government's commitment is as strong now as ever before. Felipe Naikaso, FBC News.
The Parliamentary Standing Committee on Justice, Law and Human Rights this week held submissions on the online safety bill, with the committee scheduled to table their report in May's sitting. Academic and activist Chopet Rai urged the committee to include a clause in the bill that protects responsible digital discontent. Maggie Boyle reports.
Speaking as a concerned citizen, Tarai outlined his issues with the online safety bill in its current form.
We can all agree that racial hatred and incitement must never be tolerated. It must not become a Trojan horse for clamping down on healthy digital discontent and dissatisfaction. Therefore, there must be a clause or an inserted section of guiding principles that protects responsible digital discussion.
Calling for additional protection of responsible free speech, he also suggested there was no need to reinvent the wheel.
Why not support and expand the cybercrime unit to help it overcome its technical and resource limitations in investigating complaints that it already has about online-related issues?
Committee members pointed out specifics of the bill promoting online safety and ensuring freedom of speech.
Everybody is free to post anything on social media as long as it does not cause harm to another individual. And the harm is defined as meaning serious emotional distress.
Where this bill is based on, not on assumptions if politically someone's saying other things, but it's focusing on what's posted.
The bill, if it is focused in a tunnel manner and a tunnel vision, it will fail to acknowledge the reality of our underlying context.
The bill seeks to promote online safety to cater to the increase of reports on harmful online behaviours such as cyberbullying, cyberstalking, internet trolling and exposure to offensive or harmful content. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Roads are expected to be busier than usual, with numerous people moving around during the long Easter weekend starting this week tomorrow. In an effort to ensure safety on our roads, the Land Transport Authority has assigned 64 officers to monitor road users. Sainian Imboila reports.
Roads will be busy from tomorrow with numerous activities planned around the country, and the LTA has warned drivers to adhere to road rules.
To be on the road, very visible, to make sure that people, the drivers especially, comply with the road rules. And if anybody found offending the road rules and breaching the speed limit, then obviously they'll be booked and taken to task. So it's in their very interest to make sure that they keep within the law.
Maharaj says after registering 23 complaints via SMS platform and 369 traffic infringement notices last week alone, LTA will come down hard on bad drivers this long weekend. Meanwhile, the police force will also boost its manpower this weekend to ensure Easter is celebrated safely.
We'll be out there in full force, just to provide that environment conducive for them to enjoy themselves, especially through on the Christian families that they would like to go to attend the Easter Mass and all activities, religious obligations.
Police and LTA will work closely during the 4 days to ensure our roads are safe. This is the long weekend. Sainiani Mboila, FBC News.
Still to come, man gets 15-year jail term for rape. And Fijians gear up the Easter celebration. Stay with us.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo tali taka na varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and domoy viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Siko minasong butikola ndo tali taka na Radio Fiji 1 kina domoy viti.
Ayaw kuya zo silil tali, nagurara may nawamanyi, nandunga. Gitu tali tagi yang gitu Venezuela pun nagudurong, barong na Radio Fiji 1 na domoy viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 na domoy viti na bonga ni BNN.
Police have conducted an internal investigation of an incident involving police officers and a couple at their home which might have involved assault. The encounter was recorded on a phone camera and uploaded to social media earlier this week. Acting Deputy Commissioner Rusiate Tunravu has confirmed to FBC News while they have not received a formal complaint on the issue, they have initiated an internal investigation in the public interest. Savara Tambor reports.
This post went viral across the social media platforms. A directive was given to Divisional Commissioner Eastern, SSP Tebita Wangambada, to investigate the incident since it happened within his area of operation.
I've been told initially that they were there just to inquire, and they were confronted, and there's a lot of question about search warrant and all these things. I don't think that the police officers are foolish enough not to get them equipped when they enter into that in a compound like that.
ACP Tunravu encouraged the public to report any incident of similar nature to police rather than posting it on social media.
The solution is not members of the community to upload it in the social media, even though it's their right. But if they want it to be investigated, they come to us. Because at the end of the day, who will solve these issues? It's not. I'm respecting the media here. I'm respecting the right of a person to upload all these things. But will that solve the issue?
Tunravu says that the force will not condone any such behavior within the organization. Sabara Tambua, FBC News.
A 42-year-old man who raped his 7-year-old niece was sentenced to 15 years imprisonment by the Suva High Court today. The man was convicted of 1 count of rape. Pranita Prakash reports.
The High Court judge said that instead of protecting the young girl, he became a perpetrator. The judge also said that the man breached the trust of the girl and her parents. The High Court judge said that the aggravating factor was that there was a serious breach of trust and the age gap between them is 35 years. The court heard that the girl sustained physical injuries during the incident and the man exploited her vulnerability. The man has been sentenced to 15 years imprisonment with a non-parole period of 13 years. While considering the time spent in remand, the judge reduced 7 months of his sentence, with the final term remaining at 14 years and 5 months. A domestic violence restraining order has also been issued against him. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
It's that time of the year where everyone rushes to their nearest bakery to buy and enjoy freshly baked hot cross buns. FBC News spoke to some in the capital city who said they are looking forward to the long Easter weekend. Catherine Krishna reports.
Easter is not complete for many if they don't eat hot cross buns.
It's the time of the year where you buy hot cross buns for your family at home. Happy Easter.
I like hot cross bun, and every Easter I get it. I love hot cross bun. My mother buys for me.
Meanwhile, the Holy Week and 40 days of fasting and prayer will end tomorrow.
We also remember how God through Jesus loved us. Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. His words are from the cross. Basically, that forgiveness is the heart of the Christian gospel.
Christian festival that celebrates peace, joy, hope, freedom, especially for people who experience suffering, oppression, captivity.
Christians will mark the celebration by attending Good Friday service tomorrow, which depicts Jesus crucified for the sins of men. Easter Monday will celebrate his resurrection after being buried after crucifixion. Catherine Krishna, FBC News.
Meanwhile, with 1 day remaining for Good Friday, FBC staff distributed hot cross buns in Namaka Nandi this morning. The hot cross buns were well received by Fijians who were either on their way to work, school or home. The team were at the Namaka Junction at 7 a.m. sharing the spirit of Easter. Similar giveaways were held in different locations in Suva and the north. In sports later with Jamie, 6 Fijians named in New Zealand's 7th side for Hong Kong, but we now join Rachel with business.
Thanks, Jackie. Good evening, and coming up in business tonight. Freebird Institute records over $1 million in profit. And in growing Fiji, new legal aid offers for people in Kavua. Stay with us.
Moala radada ranalika, au tikongona tau na singatoka, andou talitaka na wakaronga ng Bula FM, number 2 na sere.
Ia dora subuni kurna bili, ibora ni batu karah hambara binaranga, do talitaki na wakaronga ng Bula FM, number 2 na sere. Bula!
Bula FM, number 2 na sere.
Leading Business Tonight, Freebird Institute Limited has announced a record net profit before tax of over $1 million. Board Chair Harushi Taniguchi highlighted that this was an increase of 15% compared to 2016. He said the strong financial performance in the last financial year is a direct result of the continual increase in the number of international students. Freebird Institute is a listed company on the South Pacific Stock Exchange. And we now join Gary from HFC with the latest from the money world.
Thank you. The US dollar rebounded further from a 5-week low as US investors also shook off fear of a trade war after global markets were shaken up this month by US President Donald Trump's threat to impose tariffs on Chinese goods and Beijing's threat of similar countermeasures. The rise in the US dollar came a bit early, with traders likely looking to flatten up the books ahead of the long Easter weekend. Closer to home, there are no major announcements from Australia and New Zealand expected before the end of the holiday weekend. Upcoming US data includes US personal income and spending, core personal consumption expenditure for the month of February, initial jobless claims, and US continuing jobless claims for March. And that's all for now. Thank you.
Thanks, Gary. Looking at today's currency exchange rate set this morning for the Fijian dollar. The Fiji dollar rose against the New Zealand dollar, the euro, and the Japanese yen. As for the commodities market, oil prices fell slightly at $64.65 per barrel. Gold slipped about $20 to close at $1,326 per ounce, and silver was down to close at $16.26 an ounce. Fiji tonight, the Legal Aid Commission opened its 11th office in Tavua yesterday. The office will bring easier access to legal services for the people of Tavua, Vatukola and the Nandarivatu Highlands, and in years of travelling to Ba or Lautoka to access legal advice. Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama says this is another milestone development delivered by the government in their mission to bring judicial services to the doorstep of every Fijian. Another 5 legal aid offices are scheduled to be open in the next few weeks.
Today, those of you in Tavua are now working towards one of the many noble aspirations of the Fijian Constitution, the sacred law of our country, by expanding access to our systems of justice to you. Today we are helping realize the right of every woman, every man and every child in Fiji to access legal services.
And that's it from business this evening. I'd like to wish you a very blessed Easter, but for now, join Jamie with the latest in sports.
Thank you, Rachel, and good evening. Up ahead in sports, Fiji's Sevens team depart for Hong Kong. And Fiji's first pro bodybuilder gears up for Fiji Pro-Am. This and more coming up.
से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची FM सुनती हूँ. मिर्ची FM is number 1. It's so hot.
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची FM सुनो अच्छा लगे. मिर्ची FM is hot.
हाय, मैं संध्या नारियल रेफ्रिकी से. मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची FM सुनते हैं. मिर्ची FM is hot. I love मिर्ची FM.
हमें स्पिन टोटो हुआ कि मिर्ची FM में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे.
मिर्ची FM, it's hot.
The 16-member Fiji Airways Sevens squad left for the Hong Kong Sevens this morning. The squad will be training at the Hong Kong Institute of Sports before coach Gareth Baber selects his final 13-member squad next Wednesday to defend the Hong Kong Sevens title. Meanwhile, earlier this week, Baber explained his decision to take extra players for the two competitions.
we'll go for that. I mean, I made my decisions on the squad based upon what I felt what squad could win a tournament. You take those tournaments 6 weeks apart, then it would be the same squad that went to each. I've supplemented it with 3 or 4 players. I wouldn't say they're a mixed squad, but there will be different names in by 3 or 4.
The Kaunrove rugby side has been busy preparing for the new rugby season. With games expected to start in mid-April, the boys are battling it out for a spot in the final team to represent the province in the Vodafone Vanua Championship. Eleanor Turangeviu has more.
Another hard-hitting training session, perfecting their catching skills, pass, running and tackling. These raw and fresh talents were handpicked from an initial 260-member squad that showed up on the first day of trial.
The committee and the coaching group has spent a lot of time moving around the Vanua, going to Bosnia Tikinas and encouraging all the Vanua to come together. I think we've succeeded. We had 40 players at last year's trial, and this year we had 260. We selected 75, and now it's down to 45.
The Kaunrave provincial rugby side has just completed its second phase of preparation for the 2018 Vodafone Vanua Championship. But before they take on the Neitasiri Bulls in their first game, a trial match will be held next Saturday to select the final squad.
As you can see, there's some good size now. We didn't have that last year, and there's some really good talent. You know, although green, that's my job and the coaching staff's job to try and close that gap in the skill level. But it's getting there. And I'm really impressed with how they're starting to improve.
With a level 3 World Rugby coach leading the pack, the young side will look to create upsets in the competition this year.
Level 3 coaches don't come along very often, and to get the most out of a coach like that, obviously he's got to have good players, and they will come. But the thing is exposure. We've got to get these young lads exposure.
After taking on Neitasiri on April 14th, the Kaunrave side will take on Ovalau and then Nasinu in Suba. They will then take on Bua, then Madhuata, and their last game will be against the Northland rugby side. Eleanor Turangeviu, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, the Vanua Championship, with its formalized format change, is expected to spice things up in local rugby this year. The championship, formerly known as the B Division, was launched in Suva today, with teams showcasing the new kit for the 2018 season. Fiji Rugby Union CEO John O'Connor confirms that of the 16 teams in the competition, the top 2 teams this year will get automatic qualification to the major division in 2019.
We revised the competition format last year. Most of the unions are quite happy with the new format, and we're here to launch it today. I thank the unions for coming. All the unions are here. We did a small workshop to go through the rules and regulations.
6 Fijians have been named in the All Black Sevens side for the Hong Kong tournament next weekend. They include Rocky Khan, Luke Masirewa, Tone Nareki, Joe Rabobo, Selesi Rayasi and Aquila Rokolisoa. However, these players are only named to compete in Hong Kong. There's a separate New Zealand team for the Commonwealth Games, which is already preparing in Australia with coach Clark Laidlaw, while the side to Hong Kong will be coached by Roger Randall and Ozzie McLean. New Zealand is pooled with Fiji, Russia and Samoa for the Hong Kong Sevens. Former Fijian basketball player Peter Gus Sowakalu is expected to make his debut for the Chiefs in tomorrow's Super Rugby clash against the Highlanders. Sowakalu will be on the bench tomorrow and will cover locks Brody Retalek and Tyler Adrian. However, Chiefs assistant coach Neil Barnes is backing 23-year-old Sowakalu, who arrived in Taranaki 18 months ago from Fiji, to rise to the occasion. Queen Victoria School sprinter Jim Bolakoro Dolasau will be an athlete to watch at this year's Coca-Cola Games after scooping 3 gold medals in the Tailevu Zone competition today. Dolasau won the 100-meter sprint with a time of 10.33 seconds and clocked 22.51 in the 200 meters. Luciana Tangathakimbao reports.
Scooping 3 gold medals was not a surprise for the Form 7 student, as he and his school team have major goals, which was set at the start of the year.
And I was running it encouraged me because back in school, elite squad of QBS, they never like special diet. Us guys don't come in a good room.
The 19-year-old says it will be tough at the Fiji finals, but his ultimate goal is to make his school proud and win gold and join the likes of William Nasuku and Ile Tiawanga.
Coca-Cola games. I'll go back next week in school. I'll do more better as I can do, especially for my starting in 100 meters, also in 200.
Meet manager Peter van der Wanga says the Tailevu schools are working hard to take back the lost glory to the province.
It's high at the moment, you know, bearing in mind the other two giants, the two boys schools, rival schools, and on top of that, Arkeas, you know, is the first runner-up from last year. Definitely, they want to make you know, a mark in the Coca-Cola games.
Meanwhile, athletes in the Tailevu zone will now prepare for the nationals, which will be held from the 19th to the 21st of April in Suva. Luciana Tangethekimbau, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, Ratu Kandavulevu School has been crowned the champions of the Tailevu zone after bagging 32 gold, 26 silver and 19 bronze, while Ndawa Samu Secondary won the girls division with 14 gold, 9 silver and 11 bronze. Fijian bodybuilder Zohaib Razak is gearing up for the Fiji Pro-Am, the first professional bodybuilding competition to be held in the country. Razak has just returned from New Zealand after winning the Men's Classic Physique Class A and claiming his pro status at the inaugural 2018 New Zealand Pro-Am. Meli Tavanga reports.
Zohaib Razak is the first Fijian builder to turn pro. This did not get into his head, as he knows this is just a beginning.
I did get what I wanted, and I'm still on cloud nine. I can't believe it. It's you know, I'm the first Fijian athlete to get pro status. This is just the beginning. Now I have many years, probably about another year or so of growing to do to get to the next stage.
The 25-year-old says he's looking forward to showing what he's got in front of his home crowd.
Oh, just a good showing, you know. I'd be happy to place in the top 4. The athletes are incredible I'm competing against. I'm not expecting too much. It's my first pro show. I've got, like I said, I've got a year of growing to do, and then I'll be a lot more competitive.
Another bodybuilder, Nilesh Chand, who has been in his top form, wants to follow his teammates' footsteps in getting a pro card.
We all look up to him, and we all want to have that little thing called the pro card. Yeah, that's what it's all about. And it's going to be huge. You'll see freaky, huge bodybuilders and really ripped physiques.
About 40 to 60 international bodybuilders will be in the show at the Nandi Event Center Saturday. This will be the first professional bodybuilder event held in the country. Meli Tavanga, FBC Sports.
Australian captain Steve Smith and vice captain David Warner have been banned from international cricket for a year. Meanwhile, bowler Cameron Bancroft has been given a 9-month suspension for his role in the Cape Town cheating scandal that has triggered outrage in the international cricket community. British professional boxer Anthony Joshua predicts an early end, and Joseph Parker is still deciding how he will end it. For a World Heavyweight Unification title fight refreshingly free of trash talk, predicting the outcome in Cardiff was as close as Joshua and Parker came to banter at their first joint news conference a fight week. In today's play of the day, the goal from Manchester City star Gabriel Jesus that gave Brazil its landmark win over Germany on their road to the World Cup. That's it from Sports Tonight. Join Angie later on with weather and in new media, a new dating service that uses DNA to find love. Details after the break.
Bula, kerong mai singatoka, kerong do talita kana varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and do moi viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Kombinasyon ko lang do talita kana Radio Fiji 1 kana do moi viti.
Kaya kuyazo sila tale, nagurara may naomani, nandunga. Gitu talita gini ang gagawin na sibale, nagundurong barong na Radio Fiji 1 nando moi viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 nando moi viti na bonga ni BNN.
In new media tonight, there always seems to be another dating app popping up with promises of helping to find romance. Just answer this, just swipe that. But one new online dating service is incorporating genetics into the mix and promising something other apps cannot: compatibility through genetics. And it's weather time now with Angie.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. How exciting is it? The most awaited long weekend is here. The conditions stayed mostly sunny and calm, but we could have heavy showers prevailing. In the west for today, a cool day with heavy showers expected for tonight. Eastwards from Peck Harbour to Suva, a semi-sunny day for today with more showers expected. And up north, much of the same picture, heavy falls can be looked out for as well. At sea, easterly winds 20 to 25 knots with rough seas. For the tides, high tide will be at 5:35 a.m. with low tide at 11:42 a.m. Sunrise will be at 6:12. For tomorrow, it's Friday and start of holidays too, but unfortunately, we have showers in prediction. Tomorrow's temps, Savu will be the coolest at 29 degrees. And looking further on to Saturday, more showers are stocking up, but despite all odds, have yourself an amazing Easter and enjoy. That's all from the FBC Weather World. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fijian Pulse tonight, we asked, what do you think of Isake Katanimba's return to the 7 setup?
My view is Katanimba will add in weight into the team, especially as we evident in the last Hong Kong Sevens.
He's a very good player and he's also experienced, which will be good for the team.
I think he's a good player and he'll make the Fiji team win.
I think he's a really great player and I think he's going to be part of Fiji moving forward to win. It will be awesome, you know, it will be a blessing when he comes back and move the team forward. So we'll pray for the team also that they win.
In the world of the weird and the wonderful, with one of the largest kitchens in Asia, the Sri Sai Baba Temple in Shirdi, India, prepares, cooks and serves quantities of food that are nearly unimaginable. The kitchen dishes out as many as 40,000 meals per day, every day, all year long. Recapping the main stories, PM assures sugar industry of government support. Online bill submission continues to gain momentum. And FNPF rakes in over $500 million in contribution. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question this week, we are asking, should buses install cameras for surveillance? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, our shot of the day sent in by Alivate Lalatute, taken at Wailoko Road in Sambeto. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply #FBC News. That was your FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Bye for now.
Wrong on the radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Kombinasyon mo ko lang untuk tali na radio Fiji 1 kina Domoy Viti.
Kaya kuya daw sila tali. Naguraramay na omani nandunga. Gitu tali tagi yang gitu Venezuela bu nangguntur rongo. Barong na radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti.
Na radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti na bonga ni BNN.